Hi, this is John again, the owner and developer of VectorDecks. In this tutorial, we're going to bring over these two post caps, the pyramid type and the flat type, so we can have it available to us within VectorDecks Use Real Objects option menus. As you see here, I have this template I made to help me when I create new objects and placing them in their proper locations and getting their proper dimensions. For a more complete description of how I use this document, how I brought in this particular PDF and scaled it to create all these different objects, please go back to my Create Your Custom Objects Basics tutorial where I go into this in great detail. Also, in my tutorial for bringing this particular 2x2 post over, I explained in more detail the steps involved and the whys and the wheres when creating your own custom object. So it might also be helpful to review the tutorial for the post object to have a better understanding of that. Now let's do this pyramid first. Go ahead and select it and copy it. And we're going to go over to that open document and go ahead and paste it. Now again, you want to make sure you're going to put it dead center of the document. Makes it easier when we're creating this symbol. Now let's go ahead and navigate to that VectorDecks data folder. Double click on it. Now again, this is a rail post object. So we need to go into that rail post objects folder. And this is a cap, so go ahead and double click on that post cap. Now I covered this in my previous tutorials, but it's worth going over again. Is make sure you're down at the level of folders that you're going to actually have this object in, and that way you know that VectorDecks is going to be able to pull it up in the right menu. And you never want to change any of these folder names or anything. You can obviously change the name of the object, but you want to keep all those folders in the same name. Now we need to find an object that closely matches this particular one, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate that and use that. Now this is a post sleeve cap instead of just a simple post. Let's go ahead and use this 4x4 post sleeve cap. And I right clicked and scroll down to duplicate, and let's call this again like the others 5x5, and I'll leave that post sleeve cap and click OK. Now we need to go to the 5x5 cap and make the edit changes to update it with this one. So let's go ahead and select that first, copy. Now select that 5x5, and again I right click, select edit. It's a three-dimensional, so by three-dimension component is the default. Now we have that existing 4x4 cap in here, and as I explained with skirt, you want to have information on two different things: the top view, which is dead center, and then let's move the front view. And again, even though this post cap is going to be way up top, VectorDecks wants it to be inserted into the document at dead zero. So you want to make sure it's set down on that 0 coordinate, and that's the surface of the deck. So let's go back to the top. Now let's go ahead and delete this 4x4 post cap, and because we had the object set at dead center when we copied it, we can do a paste in place, and it'll paste it in dead center here. Now let's check that front view, and great, it's right there at that surface level. Let's go back to top, and again, before we exit out, we want to see its record settings. So you want to make sure it's deselected, go back to its object information palette, and again, as with the skirt, all these are set to either 0 or blanked out, and that means VectorDecks does not need any information other than the actual object itself. But you can enter anything you want. It won't affect how it's drawn in the document. Now we can go ahead and exit out of this. Check over here. You see your 5x5 post sleeve cap is here. Now before I go back to that flat one, I'm going to save this template again and delete that item. Do a save as template. Number 10 is what I'm using. Now we have it. We don't have to worry about any computer crashes. We're not going to lose anything. Now I'm going to go back to the template I have for the objects and select that flat one. Do a copy. This process, I'll go a little quicker because we're just duplicating exactly what we did with the pyramid. See, now we have it dead center in this particular document. We're already in this caps folder. So let's go ahead and duplicate the one we just made. Now I'm going to change something here. I'm going to add that flat to this. Let's name this a 5x5 post sleeve cap flat. Now I could have named that pyramid. You can go back there and make those changes, so it's simple enough to do. And now we need to go in there and edit, but let's copy this and bring it over first. So copy. I'm going to right click on that new one, edit. And there's the old one. Let's delete it. And let's paste in place. So now we're dead center. But I'm going to double check and see where it is. It should be at the same location. Great, it's right there at that bottom. So let's go back to the top. It's record information. Again, it's still all the same. All the data information is not required. Now we can go ahead and exit that symbol, and we have that additional 5x5 post sleeve cap that's flat. Now I want to go ahead and save this template again so we don't lose everything. I deleted that component. Save as template. Okay. Now in our next tutorials we're going to go over the different rail components, the top rail, the bottom rail, the balusters. But this would be a good time to show you and check that we have all those different new post objects inside VectorDecks menus. So let me pop in a simple deck frame here. My scale is, I increased the scale so it's easy to work on these symbols, so this is really tiny. But that's all we need to do is get in here and have a look at the different options here. And I'm going to go ahead and select the frame sun deck rail settings. And then we need to have this use rail objects selected. And we did all these post objects. So now let's see if we do have that 2x2 post in here. We have that 5x5 sleeve, and you can see the little extensions on its corners. We have that 5x5 sleeve cap, and we also have that 5x5 sleeve cap that's flat. And there we go. We have the 5x5 post sleeve skirt. So it's that simple to get these different items inside of VectorDecks. And once you place them in the right places in the right folders, they're going to be there. Now in our next tutorials we're going to go over and start the rail objects, and we'll start off with the top rail.